welcome to Accelerator. My name is Rob, and this is an introduction video for me to tell you a little bit about myself and also give you an introduction to Visual Basic. A little bit about myself. I started working with Excel about 10 years ago, did not really know much about it, but through working with online forums and just playing with it and trying to figure things out as I went along, I've gotten to a point where I like to think I'm pretty good at it. So, having said that, I wanted to give an introduction to Visual Basic because this example was one of the first things that I ever really did that helped me grasp what code was able to do in a spreadsheet. So, without further ado, let's take a look at that code. Now, if you're in your spreadsheet here and you hit Alt F11, that's going to get you into the Visual Basic editor. Hit Alt I-M to insert a module. Now, inside of a module, you're going to make subroutines, and that's going to look like this. Sub demo. And inside of this, and this is really basic, but we're going to declare a couple of variables. Both of these variables are going to be integers. You've got different kinds of variable types, and I'm not really going to get into that. That's starting to go down a whole broader scope. But for this introductory thing, we've got variables. Variables can be a lot of things, but in this case, they're going to be integers. So we're just going to say dim, which means dimension, j as an integer, and we're going to do the same for I. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put these into for loops, which basically means it's going to iterate or loop over a predetermined amount of times. So if we say for j is equal to 1 to 20, that means that j is going to start from 1 and go one by one until it hits 20, and then it's going to be done with its loop. We're going to do the same thing for I, and especially in loops, whether it's a for next loop or a do while loop, it's not necessary, but it's nice to use proper indentation when you're using code because it just makes it a lot easier to read. That's why this next line is going to be indented in one. So for I is equal to 1 to 20 as well, and then we're going to say cells, and this is in reference to the cells on the actual worksheet that we're working with. J comma I is equal to row, and this is just text, row, and our variable j, and space, so that's going to say that while it's going through all these loops, it's going to also refer to the cells on the sheet, and when it does refer to the cells in the sheet, it's going to input this text, which is combined with the variables themselves. So we close out these loops and say next I comes before j because we have to close that loop out before we can go to the next one. And next j. And what we're going to see happen when we run this code is it's going to fill in all the rows and columns for 1 through 20, telling us what row and column it's in. So if we hit F5 while we're running this, you can see the code ran. And if we just do a little resizing, you can see, alright, column 4 in row 10, row 11, column 9, and so on and so forth. And if we delete this and go back to the VBA editor, we can hit F8 to just step through one by one. So you can see that right now we're in the j loop, where j is equal to 1, and we're doing the same thing for I is equal to 1, and I is going to go from 1 to 20 for each time while j is equal to 1, I is going to go through 1 through 20. Then j will be equal to 2, and I will go through 1 through 20 again. And it'll keep going like that. So you can see where j is going up, j is the column, and I is going up, I is the column, and j is substituting for our row. It's going to stay 1 until I has gotten to 20, and then it resets. So it's going to go all the way across until I finally gets to 20. We're at 13 right now. And then 20. Now it's hit 20, so it's going to go to the next j. J is now equal to 2. And I resets to 1, and it goes 1 to 20 again. And so on and so forth until it is done with both of its loops, and you've got everything filled out. So I hope you enjoyed this. It was a quick little intro into how Visual Basic works. We covered subroutines, declaring variables, and the for next loop. So I hope you found it informational, and if you're just getting into Visual Basic, I hope it sparks a little bit of that interest to get into that more, because if you just focus on spreadsheet formulas, that's great. Some guys are really good with that stuff and they can do magic with formulas, but there are a lot of times that you run into situations where code is just easier or even a better solution than using formula-based things. So if you have any questions about problems that you're having with Excel, send them my way, leave them in the comment section of the videos. I'll be glad to look at them and try to figure out a solution for them, and hopefully we can make a video of it and get that out to you. Alright, thanks, and I'll see you guys in the next video.